Shalom, 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 workers like Mashpaka. Welcome to another episode of Daily Tonic in the World right here on DC Create TV. And I remain your host and your regular brother, Daniel Fierce-Lion Yashurala. And today, we are continuing from where we stopped yesterday, which is actually the book of Shemoth, chapter 21, going down to chapter 25. And it says, "Now these are the judgments which you shall set before them. If you obtain an evil servant, 6 years shall he serve, and in the 7th he shall go out free for nothing. If he came in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he were married, then his woman shall go out with him." You see that? Now it's talking about how we are meant to deal with ourselves, who are all Hebrews. Though we understand that sometimes people actually will come, they will say, please come and help my son. I want him to learn a trade and other things. If Yah has made you to be buoyant enough to help that person, the person is coming to your place to come and serve. Because what he's trying to learn is actually going to the spirit of service. So if they have that kind of case, you are meant to let that person work for you maximum of 6 years. Once it is the 7th year, the person has the right to be free from your bond. And he said again, if the person actually came by himself, if the person wants to leave today, the person has the right to leave today. But today we have our fellow people who claim to be awakened Hebrew, most especially in the eastern part of Nigeria. They will say, I'm bringing my brother to Lagos to come and learn a trade and other things. You claim to call the person your brother, but you are actually making that person work for you, and you are not ready to let the person get his freedom or her freedom. That's why I start hearing that so person have Okechukwu in a shop to come and learn the trade of how to sell food stuff. You promise Okechukwu that after a certain amount of years, that you will set him up to give him his own shop of his own, to become a boss of himself. You will say that, okay, let Okechukwu come and learn trade of how to sell spare parts in my shop. And after certain years, I'll give him freedom. I will even set him up, give him his own shop, and can become a boss of himself. When it's now feel time to his time of freedom, then you as a wicked boss will try to build or frame him up so that he won't be able to be free from you. Or so that even though he will be free, you won't fulfill your promise of setting that person up. This is wickedness. And you're not doing that to other nations. You are doing that to your own brother, an evil like you. Just imagine. Not knowing that this wickedness they are doing actually there's a particular commandment that stands against it. Let us press on. Verse 4. If his Adonai have given him a woman, and she have borne him sons and daughters, the woman and the children shall be her Adonis, and he shall go out by himself. That's talking about for those servants that came by themselves. That's why I do advise people, most especially those who are serving. If you are serving a particular master, don't let that if you are single, don't get a wife under the nose of your master, or get the wife from your master himself, because he has the right to claim whatsoever he has given to you while you are serving him. This was also almost what happened to our forefather, Yaakov. He saw Laban actually as his uncle, but Laban chose to play the wicked game with him. That was why when he even said to Laban, let me go with my women, he said, are they not my children? They have, I don't know my sons too. To tell you that these particular creatures actually have been right from time. We need to stop these things. Since they are our people, we are meant to treat them with all fairness. Let's proceed. 5. And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my Adoni, my woman, and my children, I will not go out free. Then his Adoni shall bring him unto the judge. He shall also bring him to the door, and unto the doorpost, and his Adoni shall pierce his ear through with a sword, with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. You see that? This is going to the aspect of that particular servant that don't want freedom. That's like saying that I love my master. I want to be with him, and blah 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 blah. When you actually have children and you have wife already. He said that in such cases that the master will pierce the ear of the servant. He pierce the ear of that servant, and that servant will serve him forever. Now here's my question. Do you think there's anything good that comes out from you be a slave forever? And if a man surrenders his daughter to be a maid servant, she shall not go out as a men servant do. That's those who actually give out their daughters to go and be house help. They cannot have the same freedom that the men servant, the house boys have. Because remember, female children actually, they are very delicate. If you give them the same freedom that the house boy also had, there's probability that they might be serving their master and they might end up getting themselves deceived by one wicked boy out there who might end up impregnating them. And the mother of this child might end up saying that the masters are not competent enough to take care of their daughter, even though their daughter is working as a maid for them. You see that? Let's press on. And if she please not her Adoni, who has betrothed her to himself, then shall he let her be redeemed, to surrender her to a strange nation. He shall have no power, seeing he has dealt deceitfully with her. It's going to the aspect of those particular masters that end up taking their maid and using the power of them being the master to get their handmaid laid. That's where he talk about betrothed himself to her. He betrothed her to himself. Not that he did that actually wisely, but he did that deceitfully. And like that last part said, seeing that he has dealt with her deceitfully. Verse 9, and if he have betrothed her unto his son, he shall deal with her after the manner of daughters. You see that? Which means if she's actually a maid in that house, and the son of the master loved that maid, if he gets married to her and make her be his woman, the master must entreat that maid as a daughter, because now she's a woman or a wife to his son. So automatically now she is now a daughter to him, no longer a maid. After getting this commandment and this statutes clear. Verse 11, and if he do not do these three, if he take him another woman, verse 10 now, her food, her raiment, and her duties of marriage shall not be diminished. This goes to everyone now. If you are a man who believes in multiple wives, it's actually your decision. It is your decision. That's why I said if. He never said you must. He said if he take to him another wife, another woman, her food, her raiment, and her duties of marriage shall not be diminished. That means all what she deserves as a wife must not reduce. And remember, we are actually in a world whereby there's too much of envy and strife out there. So if you are a man, and you know that you are capable to be a husband to multiple women, you must see how you balance the beam. Don't say that because you have a new wife now, you give her all your attention, then the things that are due for the other wife that you married first, reduced it. You are going against Yahuwah. He said, if you take him another woman, her food, that's you providing for her feeding, her raiment, you providing for her clothing, and her duties of marriage, which goes into the aspects of the inner room. The married ones understand what I'm saying. I don't want to use some large language here. Because probably we might be having those who might be younger than us watching this particular class. So in the aspect of those who are married, you as the man who is picking another wife, your first wife or your first woman's food, raiment, and her duties of marriage, you must not reduce them. Not say because the new wife gives me more attention, balance the beam. If you give the new wife 5 minutes, give the first wife 5 minutes too. If you give the second wife 3 pieces of clothes, give your first wife as well 3 pieces of clothes. Because don't get it twisted. If you try to do for this more than the other, then there will be strife. So the best thing is you balance the beam. If you give 2 pieces, 2 packs of food to the first wife, give the second wife 2 packs of food as well. So that there will not be any cause of envy or strife between them. Though Satan might want to use them as women who are the weaker vessels, but when you as the man, you don't make room for that kind of wickedness to happen, then definitely you have done your part. Let's press on. And if you do not do these 3 things, these 3 unto her, then shall she go out free without money. Now, this actually talking in the aspect of the person that actually got a maid as a wife first. Now, because you now got her, because she see her as a maid, you now try to treat her badly. You didn't give her these 3 things that she deserves. The scripture says that if he does not these 3 things, this particular maid has a right to live without money, which means she is free. She's not bound to him. Why? Because he has chose to deprive her of what she deserves, even though she was married to as a maid servant. But this is not going into the aspect of those who are married to free bonds. Don't say that because scripture says that if you don't do this thing, you can go. As a woman, if you are in your husband's house, if you are the reason why you cause him to become polygamous, then you must bear the burden on yourself. Don't think, since he can get himself another woman, even myself, since he's not doing this to me, I'm also free. If the man actually is doing what you deserve, if he's giving you the clothes at the right time, feeding you at the right time, giving you what you deserve as your duty of marriage at the right time, then you have no right to say you want to opt out of the marriage, except if only you are a crackhead who is only looking for a particular way. Because some women actually, they are the one who are the problem of their lives, in the sense whereby they will be looking for a way, looking for a means whereby the man can be guilty of them so that they can go out there to be with another man. That is a devil walking through you. Let us proceed. And if the man lie not in wait, but Elohim deliver him into his hand. But if a man lie not in wait, but Elohim deliver him into his hand, then I will appoint you a place whither he shall flee. But if a man come presumptuously upon his neighbor to slay him with gall, that's you're trying to slay your neighbor now with guiltiness, like trying to pass out false accusation against him, you shall take him from my altar that he may die. That's how I do advise people. Don't try to pass guilt on people when you know that they are not guilty. If you have been in the time of the days of our forefathers, you are worthy of death for passing such kind of guilt against someone who has not done nothing wrong against you. Verse 17. And he that curses his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. We are actually working on that grace now. Because imagine if it was to be back in the days. That's why sometimes I look at some children in the European world. Because they get priority now, children actually are now so spoiled that they are rude to their parents. You keep hearing some children be like, hey, get the hell out of here, mom. I don't care who you are. I did it. If it was to be in the days of our forefathers and you curse your parents, that child must surely be put to death. Even though let that child be the favorite of their parents, if that child can allow the devil to walk through him, that child actually will be put to death. But now we are in a world or regime of grace. That is why we have ass whooping now. The scripture itself says that the stubbornness born in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction drives it out. If you want to curse your father and mother back then, now that we are actually operating in the modern world now, the Most High have given us His word on how to set those children right with the rod of correction. He says, rebuke a child with the rod and he shall not die. So don't think that maybe when they whoop you for doing what you are wrong, they're going to die. No. When you do what is wrong, your mother, your father will get a belt and will whoop you well so that you can cast out that devil out of you. Let's press on. And if men strive together, and one smite another with a stone or with his fist, and he died not, but keeps his bed, if he shall rise again and walk abroad upon his staff, then shall he that smote him be innocent. Only he shall pay for the loss of his time, and shall cause him to be thoroughly healed. You see that? He says, if men strive together, and one smite another with a stone or with his fist, and did not die, but keep his bed. He's talking about when you and someone actually are fighting hand-to-hand combat, and end up picking up a stone or using a fist to punch the person, and the person who you punch did not die. He said, if he rise again and walk abroad upon his staff, then shall he that smote him be innocent. Which means, if that person, because you are not hurt back then, now when you now rise up again, you want to come and fight again, because he didn't die from that particular incident, if you are the one that come out rise again, and you want to come and fight, with how you are limping with stick, he says that you are the one. The person who smacked you at first actually is innocent. That is why now we have the authorities. If someone do you wrong, it's not saying that let me take blessing to my hands. No, don't do that. Best thing is, do the right thing. Hand the person over to the authorities. Because probability might come. You might have to say, let me smite him as well. If the person now die in your hand, then you'll be punished. I never said so. Let's come out from scriptures. And if a man smite a servant or his maid with a rod, and he dies under his hand, he shall surely be punished. So if you think you can fight and end up killing someone, the trouble is upon you. You'll be punished for it. Notwithstanding, if he continue a day or two, he shall not be punished, for he is his money. That's for slaves now. He said, and if men strive and hurt a woman with child, that's when you, man to man, you are fighting. A woman who is now with child now gets hurt, so that her fruit departs from her, which means you and this man to man, you are fighting. The woman that actually has a child, the child now gets hurt that the child actually died. That her fruit depart from her, and yet no mischief follow. He shall surely be punished, according as the woman's man will lay upon him, and he shall pay as judges determine. To say that truly, aside from constitution that we have in the world, we have the scriptural way of dealing with criminal offenses. When it comes to the aspect of death, through fighting and other things, we have everything in the scriptures. 23. And if any mischief follow, then you shall give life for life. Which means, if at the end of everything, that child who you hurt, if that child actually died, or maybe more mischief happened after that, then you that was fighting, that you actually caused the death of that particular woman's child or the mischief that actually happened, you must actually pay. You will definitely pay life for life. eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burning for burning, wound for wound, stripe for stripe. So if you that is fighting kill another man's child because you are fighting with somebody else, if that child die, casualty happens, then it will also go as well to you that you are fighting. The Mike Tyson of the house, it will also go to your house as well. A child that died for a child as well. You killed someone's child, your child as well will be killed as well. Life for life. You are the cause why the person's wife had a bruise on her head. Your wife as well must be put out and be bruised on the same thing. So why don't you try to embrace peace instead? These are commandments that shall have put us through. Let us keep reading. It says, and if a man smite the eyes of his servant or the eyes of his maid, and that it perish, and he shall let him go free for his eye's sake. Why do you think he's saying all these things? This will tell you that truly, wicked masters never started today. It has been right from that time. Otherwise, why will a master choose to see his servant and smite the servant on the eye that made the servant actually lose his or her eyes? When will we wake up from this wickedness and embrace love? Because to me, I see it as total wickedness for a master to just wake up one morning and say that the best I can do is to get my servant and smite the eyes, that actually will end up getting blind or perish. Verse 27, and he smite out a servant's tooth and his maid servant tooth, he shall let them go free for his tooth's sake. And if an ox gore a man or a woman that they die, then the ox shall be surely stoned, and his flesh shall not be eaten, but the owner of the ox shall be innocent. This is going to the aspect of those of you that rear cow. If your cow go and nod someone, and the person the cow nod had to die, the instruction is that animal must be stoned to death. And after that animal die, that cow die, nobody must eat that cow. It's there. He said that his flesh shall not be eaten. So the best thing is, before your cow start nodding somebody, when you say that your cow loves to nod, before it gets to a person whereby it will nod somebody and the person die, my advice is take that cow, kill that cow, share the meat where we let everybody eat. Make that cow become a blessing to everybody. Now for it to become a waste. Let me go on. But if the ox were warned to push with his horn in time past, and it has been testified of his owner, and he has not kept him in, but that he has killed a man or a woman, the ox shall be stoned, and his owner also shall be put to death. You see that? He's talking about the ox that actually were warned to push with his horn in time past. That means if those are the cow that they have been taught to be pushing things with their horn, so they believe that every other thing they see is to be pushed. Normally, back in the days, ox or cow, they are meant to be arranged in pair. Add a cart to them so that they can help you to plow the farm. They are not meant to be helping you to be pushing things with their horns. So if you are that master that actually you cause this, making your cow or your ox pushing with your horns, and they end up going to nod someone and the person die, both you and that cow are guilty of death. Next person. And if there be laid on him a sum of money, then he shall give the ransom for his life, whatsoever is laid upon him. That's for the master now. But for that cow, he can't escape it. It must be stoned to death. But for the master, if they say that they don't want the master should still stay alive, if the family of the deceased choose to place a bounty, a ransom for his life, he must pay it. And let's go on. Whether he have God a son or have God a daughter, according to this judgment shall it be done unto him. If the ox shall push a manservant or a maidservant, he shall give unto the Adoni 30 shekels of silver, and the ox shall be stoned. You see that? That's if the ox shall push a maidservant or a manservant. He says, he shall give unto their Adoni 30 shekels of silver. So that means if it is the servant that were nodded by the cow, that means the servant will give their master 30 pieces of shekel of silver, and that ox will be killed because it actually belongs to their master. And if a man shall open a pit, or if a man shall dig a pit and not cover it, and an ox or an ass fall therein, the owner of the pit shall make it good, and give money unto the owner of them, and the dead beast shall be his. And if the ox of one man hurts the ox of another, that he die, then they shall sell the live ox and divide the money of it, and the dead ox the dead ox also they shall divide. You see that? So that means, for example, now over here in Nigeria, there's something we call ram fight. You start saying ram coming, ikim, ikim, ikim. It says in this particular position, if one particular ox not the other ox and that one die, the judgment is the dead one that is on ground, the owner of that living one that knocked that one down to be dead, that one that is alive, they must sell it and divide the money into two. Also as well, the dead ox on ground will also be divided as well, which means both the person that has the living ox, the person that has the dead ox actually, we both have a portion, which means the living ox will be sold, they will both share the money, and the dead ox will be shared into two. The owner of the dead ox will take his own, and the owner of the living ox will have sold his as well, will also get his own portion too. And if the ox of one man hurt another, now verse 36, or if it be known that the ox has used to push in time past, and his owner has not kept him in, that means his owner have not kept him safe. If it's that ox that have always been trained all about pushing with the horn all the time, he says, he shall surely put that ox to death, and the dead shall be his own, which means by that point that be always using your ox to be pushing things on the field right from time. If that ox should kill another man's ox, his own ox as well will be killed. And after his ox is being killed, he will still be the one to bear the death or the dead ox of the other person. That's why we tell people it's better for you to stay on the path of no trouble than to stay on the path of trouble.
For sponsorship, advert placement, please call or WhatsApp this number +234 811 731 0928.
searching for a conducive and affordable apartment within the Bahari Beach, Tanzania? Don't go too far. We have 4-bedroom furnished apartment, 3 BHK, 2 en-suite bedrooms, and 1 public toilet. And our building is well fitted with the air conditioner, free water, just 5 to 7 minutes drive from Bahari Beach. Also, we have 1 free border ride to the beach per month, access to Fire Sticks, DSW TV available as well. And don't forget, we also have unlimited Wi-Fi just for 50,000 per month. And also, our conducive apartment is close to Jambo Supermarket, close to Kibo Plaza, close to Vodacom and Tigo Pesa, close to many Wakala stations, close to Barabara Restaurant, close to Yoki Market, Leisure Plaza Hotel and Restaurant and Pool, close to Budget Resort Restaurant, and also close to TJ Daycare, to prove that our apartment has good landmarks within the outskirts of Tanzania. Also, we have rentals of BMX bicycle with motor. We have the Mercedes-Benz bicycle and the mountain foldable travel bicycle for rent as well. So, all these great things can only cost you just 1.5 million per month for the next 3 months of the rental for this apartment. Wow! Why not to make it a date? Come home, visit the motherland, come look at the prestigious view of Tanzania at the comfort of what you can ever imagine, so you can believe that truly there is no place like home. Welcome back from that short commercial break. Sorry, I had to just take a water break because I'm actually losing my voice. So let's get back to scriptures. Now we're in chapter 22. It says, if a man steals an ox or a sheep and kill it or sell it, he shall restore 5 oxen for an ox and 4 sheep for a sheep. To tell you that there's always a specific judgment that attached to every criminal offense. Even way before civilization even came. If you are caught stealing one thing, you must replace it back. This is what we are reading right now. Verse 2. If a man be found breaking up and be smiting that he died, there shall no blood be shed for him. You see that? It says, if a man thief, if a thief be found breaking up, that means if you catch somebody stealing in the act, trying to break into someone's house, if he was caught and was smitten that he died while they are beating him up, he says nobody actually is guilty of him. He says, there shall no blood be shed for him. Verse 3, it says, if the sun be risen upon him, there shall be blood shed for him. For he shall make full restitution if he have nothing, then he shall be sold for his theft. You see that? He says, if the sun be risen upon him, that means if the sun rise up on him, there shall be bloodshed for him. Which means if the sun actually should rise on him in that act, if the sun shall rise on him in that act when they beat him to death, that is when blood shall be shed for his sake. For he shall make full restitution, which means since you have caught him in the broad daylight, the duty actually to just take him and if possible hand him over to the authorities. It's if the sun rise upon him. If the sun rise upon him, then there shall be bloodshed for him. For he should make full restitution, that he should return back what he has done, return everything. If he have nothing, then he shall be sold for his theft. which means if he cannot restitute what he has stolen, then he must be sold for his theft. If the theft be certainly found in his hand alive, that's what he stole, it was still in his very hand. Whether it be ox or ass or sheep, he shall restore double. Which means if actually the person was caught stealing my microphone, for example, he must restore it back with double. If he was caught stealing my biro, he must, since it is with him, he must restore it for double. Verse 5. If a man shall cause a field or vineyard to be eaten, and shall put in his beast, and shall put in his beast, and shall feed in another man's field, of the best of his own field, and of the best of his own vineyard shall he make restitution. This is talking about those that have cattle. If you choose to keep your own farm, and you now take your cattle, you take your livestock to go and feed on another man's farm, the judgment there is that they will also go to your own farm as well. The best of your farm and the best of your vineyard is what you will give back to the owner of that farm that you have destroyed with your own beast. Restitution. 6. If fire breaks out and catch in thorns, so that the stack of grain or the standing grain or the field be consumed therewith, he that kindled the fire shall surely make restitution. This goes to the aspect of wildfire. If you are trying to burn, when you see someone's vineyard beside you, and the person's farm end up getting burnt, you that start that fire, you must make restitution for what is destroyed. If a man shall deliver unto his neighbor money or stuff to guard, that's to keep, and it be stolen out of the man's house, if the thief be found, let him pay double. Well, that means, for example, man, you give me money to keep for you, and at the end of the day, I was actually robbed, just like that. If that thief was caught while robbing the person in that act, the thief was repaid back double. If the thief be not found, then the master of the house shall be brought unto the judge to see whether he have put his hand unto his neighbor's goods. You see that? That means if they caught that thief in the act, then they will believe that truly it was stolen. But if it was actually not, it was after it all happened. The person started telling you, the armed robber came to my house, so they stole the money, asked me to keep for you. He said that it will be brought to the judges. Verse 9. For all manner of transgression, whether it be for ox, for ass, for sheep, for raiment, or for any manner of lost things, which another challenges to be his, the cause of both parties shall come before the judges, and whom the judges shall condemn, he shall pay double unto his neighbor, as well as found guilty. If a man deliver unto his neighbor an ass, or an ox, or a sheep, or any beast to guard, and it die, and or be hurt, or driven away, no man seeing it, then shall an oath of Yahuwah be between them both, that he has not put his hand unto his servant's goods, and the owner of it shall accept thereof, and he shall not make it good. You see that? That's if he has also to keep something and it actually dies in the person's hand, maybe due to poor treatment or whatever. The only thing they can do is the person has to make an oath between themselves and Yahuwah. I remember back then, Yahuwah doesn't play no games. If you make an oath and you are found guilty, Yahuwah can choose to strike you dead on the spot. Verse 12. And if it be stolen from him, he shall make restitution unto the owner thereof. Do you know why? Because if he are taking care of that livestock well, it won't be stolen. If you have protected that livestock, the way he protect his own livestock, it will be stolen. If it be torn in pieces, then let him bring it for witness, and he shall not make good that which was torn. Sorry, which means if actually the animal you gave to your neighbor was killed by something else, maybe it was knocked down by a car, it was torn down by a wild beast, bring your proof, bring the remaining of that animal to the presence of the judges. Let them see it as a witness that truly it was torn. It says, if a man borrow out of his neighbor, and it be hurt or die, and the owner thereof be not with it, he shall surely make it good. That means if you borrow from your neighbor, and what you borrow from your neighbor actually is hurt or die, the owner of it, be not of it actually, shall surely make it good. But if the owner thereof be with it, that if the owner is with it, he shall not make it good. And if it be a hired thing, it came for his hire. That means it's not actually come to your place and destroy something. So the owner of the house, he might just want to let it go. If that's initially bad or it's actually faulty. But if it's actually in good condition and the person came to spoil it in your place, then definitely that person that spoiled it actually should either return it. Or better, if it was actually someone who actually came to work for you that destroyed that thing, what he has destroyed actually will be his hire, which means you will use his money for workmanship or his dues for services. You will use that actually to replace what he has spoiled. 16. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. Which means if there's a particular sister out there who is not married, who is not betrothed to a man, if you entice her and you get her laid with, you must take her to be your wife. You must endow her to be your woman. That's our advice. If you know you don't have good plans for the woman, don't bother enticing her. Don't bother enticing her. 17. If her father utterly refuse to give her unto him, that means if you want to take her now to be your wife, but the parent of that woman says she don't want that man to be the husband of their child, he shall repay money according to the dowry of virgins, which means if he actually made the woman a virgin before he gets her laid, then he must pay that family for the wrong he has done. Since they don't want to be the husband of their daughter, he must pay the dowry of a virgin because he has enticed her and deprived her and even stole her virginity from her. But today we're in a world whereby even the youngest of all are no longer virgins anymore. It is high time we get our nation back on track to be holy before Yahuwah and appreciate virginity, most especially to our young sisters out there. Verse 18. You shall not suffer a witch to live. Straight fact. When you catch a witch back then, no other excuse. Death. But today, they allow witch to walk freely on the street. They even watch a witch casting spell against another person and let that witch go scot-free. All because of the fear of witchcraft. It was been the days of our forefathers, that witch will be put to death. Whosoever lies with a beast shall surely be put to death. He that sacrifice unto any Elohim, save unto Yahuwah only, he shall be utterly destroyed. So if you are caught saying that you are unto Yahuwah and you are still making some burnt sacrifice to other Elohim, that person must be destroyed utterly. So for those who claim themselves to be awakened Hebrews, who are saying two animal sacrifices, claiming that it's unto Yahuwah, when actually Yahushua Mashiach has ended the animal sacrifice unto Yahuwah, only for the Passover, which actually it is a must for generation to come. They're one of those that still say that yes, they are Levitical priests of our kingdom in Yanda. If you are actually doing smoke sacrifice unto Yahuwah. Yahuwah never asks for a sacrifice anymore. If you are caught doing this, both yourself and your children actually, he says such person must be utterly destroyed. Which means himself and whatever that can be called unto his generation, that can be called himself. And what can be called him? Can a man be called? Himself, his wife, his children, what they call his home, will be utterly destroyed. Let's press on. That's why I do warn most Hebrews. Stop all this Judaism you are practicing. It's against Yahweh. Yahweh is actually upset with what you are doing. Some will say, I've been in the truth from I was born. And that is why my father is like Levitical priest. We are offering sacrifices. I see you actually as nothing but dumb fools. Yahweh said, if anyone is caught doing this because he no longer wants to sacrifice anymore, as I said, Yahushua Mashiach, the only thing he only agree for us that can be burnt or that can be killed is for the Passover alone. If you are caught doing this, that person who is caught doing it must be utterly destroyed, himself and his household. Verse 21. You shall neither vex a stranger nor oppress him, for ye were strangers in the land of Mizraim. Ye shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child. You see that? You say you must not vex a stranger. Yet you are in a world whereby if someone from this ethnic group come to your own vicinity or come to your own territory, you always do things to vex them. You come with tribalism. You come with language, linguistics mocking. The Most High said it is not done that way, because you were also strangers in other Mizraim. Stop vexing a stranger because they are not your own people. Stop it. It is demonic, it is wicked, it is foolish, it is sinful. It's going against what Yahweh said. Verse 23. He says, if you afflict them in any wise, that's talking about the widow and the fatherless child, you should not afflict them. He says, if you afflict them in any wise, and they cry at all unto me, I will surely hear their cry, and my wrath shall wax hot, and I will kill you with the sword, and your woman shall be widow, and your children fatherless. So if you are one of those uncles who because of property killed your brother, and now you are afflicting the children of your brother and his widow, the Most High said, if they cry to him, he will hear their cry and he will kill you as well, so that your children and your wife can also feel the pain of a widow and the pain of the fatherless. So why won't you just stop that wickedness in you? Verse 25. If you lend money to any of my people that is poor by you, you shall not be to him as an usurer, neither shall you lay upon him usury. This talking to the aspect of those who are actually giving loans to people. Don't take back interest. If you borrow your neighbor 5 naira, take back 5 naira. Don't be that person that will borrow your neighbor 5 naira to collect 7 naira. You can do that to the other nations, but if it is your own people, he said, any of my people, if they are dark-skinned, you are not meant to do such a thing, because they are your people. Why am I going to say so? Let's check it out. Next verse 26. If you at all take your neighbor's raiment to pledge, you shall deliver it unto him by the sun goes down. Deliver it unto him by that the sun goes down. For that is his covering only. It is his raiment for his skin. wherein shall he sleep? And it shall come to pass, when he cries unto me, that I will hear him, for I am gracious. You shall not revile the Elohim, nor curse the ruler of your people. It says, you shall not revile the Elohim, nor curse the rulers of your people. Which means, if possible, if you are in your land, don't curse the leader of your people. Fine, we're in a world whereby now the government actually are wicked, but that doesn't give you the right to say you want to become rebellious against them. Because if they choose to say they want to destroy you utterly, they are not at fault because you caused the foolishness. And it says, verse 29, you shall not delay to offer the first of your ripe fruit, and of your liquor, and firstborn of your sons shall you give unto me. Likewise shall you do with your oxen and with your sheep. 7 days it shall be with its dam. On the 8th day you shall give it to me. And ye shall be holy men unto me. Neither shall ye eat any flesh that is torn of beast in the field. Ye shall cast it to the dogs. You see that? So that means if you are those people that maybe like you rear chickens, for example, if your animal is found dead, you must not eat it. Instead, you must give that particular animal that is killed to the dogs. Now we're in chapter 23. You shall not raise a false report. Put not your hand with the wicked. You see that? To be an unrighteous witness. Don't raise false report. And don't put your hand with the wicked to be an unrighteous witness. That's why I tell people, when you hear of a sin, don't be a witness to that sin. Don't be wicked. Now we are in a world whereby some people actually do what is wrong. Some people actually might, in short, is what I've seen and I keep seeing almost every time. Whereby, because of the wickedness they have actually planned, they will now choose to bear false reports against someone because they are trying to cover their tracks. They will now even try to find someone who will be a wicked witness like themselves. They are forgetting that there's Yahuwah up there that sees everything. It says, you shall not raise false reports. For example, if you are giving this thing, if it naturally is good, but because you are trying to scam somebody, not that they say that, it's bad. You now just even get a fellow partner that knew that it is good, but the person chose to be an unrighteous witness. The both of you, they are playing with death. Because whoever go against what Yahweh have said, you are getting yourself digging up your sin, digging up death. Remember, scripture says, for the wages of sin is death. And what is sin? 1 John chapter 3 verse 4 says, whoever transgress the Torah has committed sin, because sin is transgression of the Torah. So when this commandment says you should not raise false reports or put your hand with the wicked to be an unrighteous witness, if you do this, you are by yourself, gradually walking towards your grave by yourself. I never said so. The Bible said so. Verse 2, you shall not follow the multitude to do evil, neither shall you speak in a cause to decline after many to pervert judgment. He said, do not follow the multitude to do evil. If you see a group of people who are trying to follow a manipulated doctrine, who are trying to follow a man-made policy, don't say or don't think that, well, they are my people. If you say that because they are your people, you chose to join them, when the judgment comes, you also join them to share the judgment as well. As I said, you shall not follow a multitude to do evil. When you say that what they are doing is evil against Yahweh's commandments, you are meant to flee. They are not forcing it on you. Don't join the multitude to do evil. Verse 3, neither shall you countenance, neither shall you countenance a poor man in his house. If you meet your enemy's ox or his ass going astray, you shall surely bring it back to him again. Can I say that Yahweh actually is wise? He says, if you see your enemy's ox, don't say that because it's my enemy, I will leave it to go astray. No. He said, you shall surely bring it back to him. Which means even though two of you are in bad terms, even though it's your enemy, when it says animals going out of the way, going astray, since you have seen it, you must take that animal and take it back to your enemy. So either you fix your problem, that's a problem. But what I see is livestock going astray. Yahweh said you must surely pick that animal and take it back to him again. If you see the asses of him that hate you, lying under his burden, and would forbear to help him, you shall surely help with him. You see? You shall not pervert the judgment of your poor in his cause. Keep far from a false matter. So you see that? Keep far from a false matter. The matter actually isn't false. That is why I do tell. That's why 1 Corinthians, no. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 21 says, prove all things and hold fast that which is good. So if you want to prove any matter, prove the matter first before you support it. He says, keep far from a false matter, and the innocent and righteous slay you not. That's, don't falsely judge the righteous or the innocent, for I will not justify the wicked. And you shall take no gift, for the gift blinds the wise, and they pervert the words of the righteous. You see that? You shall take no gift. Don't let anybody bribe you with gift. If something actually is wrong, let them that is wrong. But when you try to take gift, he says, gift blind the eyes of the wise. The wicked know that you're actually wise, so they always want to use gift to blind your eyes, so that you will not say the truth, so that you will not speak righteous. He says, don't take gifts. 9. And you shall not oppress a stranger, for you know the heart of a stranger, seeing you were strangers in the land of Mizraim. And 6 years shall you sow your land, and shall gather the fruit thereof. But the 7th year you shall let it rest, and lie still, for the poor of your house, of your people, may eat, and what they leave, the beasts of the field shall eat. In like manner you shall deal with your vineyard and your olive yard. You see that? He's even telling us who are going to farming that we should let our farm work for 6 years. On the 7th year, he said we should leave it to rest. Not even just human alone. Now it's only the aspect of field as well. So that is why I do tell people it's better you study to know things. So this also is to advise all our coaches out there who are into farming right now. Count the time. You can let your farm work for 6 years. On the 7th year, let your farm rest. People will think, why would do that? That means we'll start for a whole year. No. It is not possible for everybody to plant at the same time. And definitely, that's why Yahweh gave us food that can be preserved. Our corns can be preserved for a whole year. Our rice can be preserved for a whole year. Our beans can be preserved for a whole year. Even our cassava as well. Even our yams as well. If we can preserve them well. Definitely, you can preserve what you have harvested for 6 years, and you are managing them. On the 7th year, let the farm breathe. Verse 12. 6 days shall you do your work, and on the 7th day you shall rest, that your ox and your ass may rest, and the son of your handmaid and the servant and the strangers may be refreshed. And in all things, that I have said unto you, be girded, and make no mention of the name of other Elohim, neither let it be heard out of your mouth. This is why I don't want most awakened Hebrews to using those pagan Roman names. You are breaking Yah's commandment. For you to even see open your mouth and you see calling the name of that JC, or see pronouncing that Bali from the Christian church, you are committing sin. He says that the name of this Elohim should not be heard out of your mouth. That is why I stick with the name Yahuwah and Yahusha Mashiach. That is why I don't join them to mention the word God or mention the word LORD, or join them to pronounce the JC name. No. Verse 14. 3 times shall you keep a feast unto me in a year. You shall gird the feast of Master, that's the feast of unleavened bread. You shall eat Master 7 days, Matzah, as I command you, in the time appointed in the month Aviv. In the month of Aviv, for in it you came out of Mizraim, and none shall appear before me empty. And the feast of Kosir, this feast of Kosir means the feast of harvest. The feast of harvest, which we call the feast of fruits. The first fruit of your labor, you see that, which you have sown in the field, and the feast of Asaph. This feast of Asaph, that's the feast of ingathering, which is in the end of the year, which you shall have gathered in your labor out of the field. Over here in Nigeria, we call it New Yam Festival, when we have the yams. Something like that. But at the last time of the month of the year, whatever harvest you have must be a feast unto Yahuwah as well, as a feast that ran up that year. Let's read on. 3 times shall you appear, 3 times in the year, all your meals shall appear before Adonai Yahuwah. No garment shall be upon my offering of blood, no living bread, no fat of my feast shall remain till the morning. You see that? The first of the first fruit of your land shall you shall bring into the house of Yahuwah Elohika. You shall not sit a kid in his mother's milk. Behold, I send an angel before you to guard you in the way and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him. And hey, he said, the angel that he has sent to them, he said, beware of him. Beware of that angel and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgression, for my name is in him. You see that? Who actually is that name in him today? Yahusha Mashiach. That is why he said, I came in my Father's name. My name is in him. People actually they don't really know how to connect the dot, the precept. He said, don't what? Don't beware of him. Provoke him not, because my name is in him. He says, for he will not pardon your transgression. But yet today, we have some criminals in JC. We have some harlots in LORD. We have murderers, we have false accusers, we have liars in GOD. Oh my, yeah. Verse 22. But if you shall indeed obey his voice and do all that I speak, then I will be an enemy unto your enemies, an adversary unto your adversaries. You see that? For my angels shall go before you and bring you in unto the Amorim and Kittim and the Perizim and the Canaanim and the Kivim and the Yevusim, and I will cut them off. You shall not bow down to their Elohim, nor serve them, nor do after their works, but you shall utterly overthrow them and quite break down their images. You see that? He says that you should not serve their idols, serve their Elohims. Neither must you do after their works. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 31 says, envy not your oppressors and do none of his ways. But today, the oppressors gave us Independence Day. We are celebrating it. Birthdays, we are celebrating it. Mother's Day, we are celebrating it. Father's Day, we are celebrating it. Democracy Day, we are celebrating it. Juneteenth, we are celebrating it. 4th of July, we are celebrating it. He says, he said, overthrow them. But you shall overthrow them and quite break down their images. In the church, they put white jersey before you, and you can't destroy it. 25. And you shall serve Yahuwah Elohim, and he shall bless your bread and your water, and I will take sickness away from the midst of you. There shall nothing cast their young nor be barren in your land. The number of your days will I fulfill. I will send my fear before you, and will destroy all the people to whom you shall come. I will make your enemy turn their backs unto you, and I will send hornet before you, which shall drive out the Kivim and the Canaanim and the Kittim and the Kitty from before you. I will drive them out from before you in 1 year, lest the land become desolate, and the beasts of the field multiply against you. By little and little I will drive them out from before you, until you have increased and inherit the land. And I will set your bounds from the Red Sea, even unto the sea of Pelishtim, and from the desert unto the river. And for I will deliver the inhabitants of the land into your hand, and you shall drive them out before you. You shall cut no covenant with them, nor with their Elohim. They shall not dwell in your land, lest they make you sin against me. For if you serve their Elohim, it will surely be a snare unto you.
Who said that the righteous also can pull up a righteous sword? Lamentation chapter 4 verse 2 says that the sons of Israel are also referred as unto fine gold. This is enough to tell you that you can rock your swag and still yet be righteous. Join Great Awakening Clothing today to get the best of outfits, putting nice print, propagating the truth through your clothing to the face of every human on the street. We have it in varieties, from the face cap to the different designs of clothes, putting out the truth right on the clothes you're wearing, and also rocking the truth righteously in your swag, which we call the righteous swag of Great Awakening Clothing. That's why we are called Clothing That Ministers. For booking and order, please call +1 7 2 5 2 1 8 7 9 9 1. You can also visit our website at www.greatawakeningclothingline.com. Great Awakening Clothing LLC, the clothing that ministers.
Activate. 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 Activate.
For sponsorship, advert placement, please call or WhatsApp this number +234 811 731 0928. Who said that the righteous don't party? Are you hoping to hold a show having an exclusive DJ come to mix with righteous songs from various Hebrew artists coming from different parts of the world, bringing their unique voices to praise Yahuwah using the ministry of songs, and also having a DJ who can help us mix the sync of musics together to make you shake your body and dance off your sorrow righteously? Please contact DJ UL Kingdom Music.
Yo, shalom and peace. Be encouraged. This DJ UL. Hold on to the vision the Most High gave you. He will bring it to pass.
For booking and inquiry, please call DJ Joel on +1 770 256 2241. Call us today and let's make your event a memorable one. Joel Kingdom Music, bringing the vibe of righteousness into your event.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. So let's proceed. Now we're in chapter 24. And he said unto Moshe, come up unto Yahuwah, you and Aharon, Nadav and Avihu, and 70 of the elders of Yasharel, and worship ye afar off. And Moshe alone shall come near Yahuwah, but they shall not come near, neither shall the people go up with him. And Moshe came and told the people, and all the words of Yahuwah, and all the judgments, and all the people answered with one voice and said, all the words which Yahuwah has said will we do. And Moshe wrote all the words of Yahuwah, and rose up early in the morning, and built an altar under the hill, and 12 pillars, according to the 12 tribes of Yasharel. And he sent young men, the son of Yasharel, which offered ascending smoke offerings, and sacrificed peace offering of ox unto Yahuwah. And Moshe took half of the blood and put it in a basin, and half of the blood is sprinkled on the altar. And he took the sefer of the covenant and read in the audience of the people, and they said, all that Yahuwah has said will we do, and be obedient. See how they use their mouth to say that yes, they will do it, obedient. Okay. And Moshe took the blood and sprinkled it on the people, and said, behold, the blood of the covenant which Yahuwah has cut with you concerning all this word. Then went up Moshe and Aharon, Navad and Avihu, and 70 of the elders of Yasharel, and they saw the Elohai of Yasharel, and there was under his feet as it were a paved walk of a sapphire stone, and as it were the body of heaven in its clearness. Just look at that. When they won't sing, they didn't even say anything. What they saw was under his feet. They said the under of his feet. That's what they were able to see. So people think Yahweh is just small like this. Oh Yahweh, have mercy. Verse 11. And upon the noble of the children of Yasharel, he laid not his hand. Also they saw Elohim and did eat and drink. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, come up to me into the mount and be there, and I will give you sapphire stone and a Torah and commandment which I have written, that you may teach them. And Moshe rose up, and his minister Yahusha, that's Joshua, and Moshe went up into the mount of Elohim. And he said unto the elders, tarry here for us until we come again unto you. And behold, Aharon and Kori are with you. If any man have any matter to do, let him come unto them. Moshe went up into the mount, and the cloud covered the mount. And the glory of Yahweh abode upon Mount Sinai, and the cloud covered it 6 days. And the 7th day he called unto Moshe out of the midst of the cloud. Now here's the question. Do you actually know what Yahweh was showing Moshe within that 6 days? That's the question you should ask yourself. What are those things that Yahweh was showing Moshe for that 6 days that he was there? And the sight of the glory of Yahweh was like devouring fire in the top of the mountain, in the eyes of the children of Yasharel. You see that? To those that went closer, what they saw was like a sapphire stone under his feet, paved by sapphire stone. But to the children of Yasharel who are afar off, it was like a devouring fire on the top of the mountain. And Moshe went into the midst of the cloud and got him up into the mount, and Moshe was in the mount 40 days and 40 nights. What apparently or what actually was Yahweh giving Moshe for that 40 days and that 40 nights? What are the revelations that he was showing Moshe for that 40 days and that 40 nights? Final chapter for today, chapter 25. And Yahuwah spoke unto Moshe, saying, speak unto the children of Yasharel, that they bring me an offering. Of every man that gives it willingly with his heart, ye shall take his offering. Take my offering. And this is the offering which ye shall give of them: gold and silver and brass and blue and purple and scarlet and fine linen and goat's hair and ram's skins dyed red and antelope skin and shittim wood. He said it is those that give willingly with his heart that give it. If you observe, he said, bring me an offering. He never said, give me a smoke offering. What they asked for: gold, silver, brass, blue, purple, scarlet, and fine linen, and goat's hair. What he didn't want to use it for, let us see. 6. Oil for the light, spice for an anointing oil, and for sweet incense, onyx stone, and stones to be set in the ephod and in the breastplate. You see that? There's explaining what don't use those things to do. You have mentioned ephod, you have mentioned breastplate. And let them make me a sanctuary. He never said, let them make me a church. A sanctuary, that I may dwell among them, according to all that I show you. after the pattern of the tabernacle. He never said the tabernacle actually, but after the pattern of tabernacle. We all know that tabernacle actually is a place whereby it must be built on one spot. But when he asked for a sanctuary so I can dwell among them, he said after the pattern of tabernacle, which means they are trying to build a sanctuary that is not just a permanent place. A sanctuary whereby they can always take away whenever they are sojourning, and when they get there again, they set it up. Let's proceed. And let them make me sanctuary that I may dwell among them, according to all that I show you after the pattern of the tabernacle and the pattern of all the instruments thereof. Even so shall ye make it. And you and they shall make an ark of kitchen wood, 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof, and a cubit and half of the breadth thereof, and the cubit and the half of the height therefore, and you shall overlay it with pure gold. Within and without shall you overlay it, and shall make upon it a crown of gold round about. A crown of gold round about as at the edge. And you shall cast 4 rings. You shall cast 4 rings of gold for it, and put them in the 4 corners thereof, and 2 rings shall it be on one side, and 2 rings shall it be, and 2 rings in the other side of it. And you shall make staves of kitchen wood, and overlay them with gold. And you shall put the staff into the ring by the side of the ark, that the ark may be borne with them. And the staff shall be in the ring of the ark, and they shall not be taken from it. And you shall put into the ark the testimony which I give you, and you shall make a mercy seat of pure gold, 2 cubits and a half shall be the length or thereof, and a cubit and half shall be the breadth thereof of the mercy seat. And you shall make 2 cherubim of gold, of beaten works shall you make them, and in the 2 end of the mercy seat, and make 1 cherub on the one end, and the other cherub on the other end. And even of the mercy seat shall ye make the cherub on the 2 ends thereof. And the cherubim shall stretch forth their wings high, covering the mercy seat with their wings, and their faces shall look one to another. Towards the mercy seat shall the faces of the cherubim be. And you shall put the mercy seat above upon the ark, and in the ark you shall put the testimony that I shall give you. And there will I meet with you, and I will commune with you from above the mercy seat, from between the 2 cherubs, which is upon the ark of the testimony of all things which I will give you in commandment to the children of Israel. You shall also make a table of kitchen wood, 2 cubits shall be the length thereof, and a cubit shall be the breadth, and a cubit and a half shall be the height thereof. And you shall overlay it with pure gold, and make thereto a crown of gold round about. And you shall make unto it a border of a handbreadth round about. And you shall make a golden crown on the to the border thereof round about. And you shall make it And you shall make for it 4 rings of gold, and put the rings in the 4 corners, and so that are on the 4 feet thereof. Verse 27. Over against the border shall the ring be for the places of the staff, for the to bear the table. And you shall make the staff of kittim, and overlay them with gold, that the table may be borne with them. Which means, aside from the ark will be on this table, and the table will be the one to bear them. Let's go on. And you shall make the dishes thereof, and the spoon thereof, and the covering thereof, and the bowl thereof, and to cover withal. Of pure gold shall you make them. And you shall set upon the table shewbread before me always. You see that? And you shall make a menorah of pure gold. Of beaten work shall the menorah be made. Its shaft and its branches and its bow, its knobs, and its flower shall be of the same. And its branch and 6 branches shall come out of the side of it. 3 branches of the menorah out of one side, and 3 branches of the menorah out of the other side. 3 bowls made like unto almond, and a knob and a flower in one branch, and 3 bowls made like almond in the other branch, and a knob of flower, and a knob and a flower, so in the 6 branches that come out of the menorah. And in the menorah shall be 4 bowls. In the menorah shall be 4 bowls made with almond, made like unto almond, with their knobs and their flowers. And there shall be a knob under one branch of the same, and the knobs under 2 branches of the same, and a knob under 2 branches of the same, according to the 6 branches that proceed out of the menorah. 36. Their knobs and their branches shall be of the same, and all it shall be one beaten work of pure gold. And you shall make the 7 lamps thereof, and they shall light the lamp thereof, and they shall light thereof, that they may give light over against it. And the tongues thereof, and the snuff dishes thereof shall be of pure gold. Of a talent of pure gold shall he make it, and with all these vessels. Last verse. And look that you make them after their pattern, which was showed you in the mount. See that Yahweh even gave Moses the instruction. In the same way I've showed you, that the same pattern that you should make all the things I asked you to do. That's what I tell people. When they give you an instruction, if you give a particular pattern, please follow after what he has given to you. Don't do what you think you know in your mind or what you think might be nice. No. Do it as he has asked you to do it. So we need to make it a wrap on today's episode of the program, Daily Tonic in the Word, right here on Secret TV. Yes, we will meet again tomorrow to continue from where we stop. I remain your humble host, Daniel Feslan Yashirala, right here on the show. And with this, I say shalom and bye for now.